would not have these columns here if we could create the ideal hearing room, but thank you for your indulgence. I'll introduce each individual witness and allow them to give their statement before moving on to the next one. And Mr. Davis, you will be introducing Mr. Smith. Is that correct?
Thank you.
Our first witness on panel 2 is Captain Matthew Bacik, who is a 2002 graduate of the United States Military Academy. He served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. Captain Bacik has served in the 82nd Airborne Division, and I have to tell you that my colleague and friend from Pennsylvania, Patrick Murphy, will be delighted to hear that you joined us here today. And the Elite Special Operations 3rd Ranger Battalion. He received 3 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star over the course of 14 total months deployed. He medically retired from the Army in August 2006 after losing his right leg below the knee, the result of an IED attack near Baghdad. Captain Bacik currently coordinates the Wounded Warrior Project, thank you for that, where he performs outreach services for OIF, OEF soldiers and veterans in Alabama. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. It's an honor. I'd like to share with you just my experience in transitioning from the battlefield to the civilian world. I was deployed 3 different times: Iraq in 2003 with the 82nd Airborne Division, 3rd Ranger Battalion in Afghanistan, and Iraq in 2005, and received a total of 3 Purple Hearts, all from improvised explosive devices. My 3rd injury destroyed most of my right foot, and I underwent a total of 13 reconstructive surgeries before my leg was amputated on the right side below the knee. Shortly after the amputation, I chose to pursue a medical retirement. My experience is somewhat unique. I did not have an amputation at Walter Reed and have always relied on private providers for my prosthetic care. The VA system has been very beneficial to me for 3 specific reasons. 1, the VA has paid for and approved the absolute best equipment that I could ask for. 2, communication between myself and Mr. Fred Down's office through their open forums. And 3, I've established a very strong relationship with a provider who is a member of my local community. I'd like to focus on the relationship that I've established with Glenn Crumpton of Alabama Artificial Limb and Orthopedic Services in Montgomery, Alabama. Glenn's a certified provider, however, he does not hold a contract with the VA. His family has been providing prosthetic arms and legs for veterans from every conflict since World War II till the present. And just as important, before the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, Glenn had experience making legs for all different types of amputees, both active and not so active folks. Glenn's patients wanted to run, bike, swim, skydive, and ski in the best available equipment. And Glenn's shop has a wealth of trade knowledge in crafting these custom-fit prosthetics that enable folks to do those very challenging physical activities. He has an unparalleled conviction to learn and grow with his patients and carries a heavy burden. If the leg he manufactures isn't right, the patient's life isn't right. Last month, I met Glenn twice at 6:30 a.m. before work to work on my new running leg. Just last week, I broke my my main foot. Glenn and I checked our respective schedules, and by chance we were both in Birmingham, Alabama on a separate business. Glenn had a foot shipped to the hotel that he was staying at, and when our respective engagements were completed, I met Glenn at his hotel, and I had a new foot put on, and I was 100 miles from my home and 100 miles from Glenn's shop. Much of our work together has been on weekends, evenings, and in early mornings, and he provides that same level of care to all his patients. The interesting thing, how did I find Glenn? It was just good luck. He doesn't hold a contract with the VA, and had I not been resourceful enough and capable enough after returning from the war and retiring from the Army to go out and seek this gentleman, I might not have ever linked up with him. And if you consider the stresses of such a traumatic, life-changing injury, I was very fortunate to be able to research on my own and vet the different providers that were available to me and come up with who I thought would be the best fit. The VA in my area uses a national company, not a national contract holding company, a company that's very large, having offices across the nation, and they hold the contract for the prosthetic care out of the Montgomery facility. A lot of times with such a large private provider, there's a lot of lateral transfers and there's a lot of up and down transfers of personnel, and you're not able to establish that same relationship with a gentleman or a lady who's going to live in your community and be, by your side for that next 55 some years of your life expectancy. The benefits of the relationship Glenn and I have established can easily be transferred to other veterans if they know he's there and know his capability. In the VA clinics, Glenn has been allowed to attend with his current patients, but if a new patient comes into the clinic, the firm holding the contract automatically receives the work, unless the veteran has somehow linked up with Glenn prior to the clinic, at which point Glenn can bring him to the clinic as his patient, his representative. For me, VA at the national level has been very instrumental in helping me learn about what my options were, what was available to me, and how to navigate the prosthetic system as a disabled vet. Mr. Downs' forums have been an invaluable part of keeping good communication flow between not myself but many other different veterans, many of the civilian nonprofit organizations that try to supplement and point vets into the right direction also attend those forums. And on a final note, I would just like to say again that the VA has paid for any type of equipment that I've asked for and that I've needed, and they have done an excellent job of following up on checking on my progress to make sure that I'm using the equipment that I've been provided, and I'd just like to close with that.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you for your service to our country. Our next witness is somebody that I know very well. He's not just a friend, he's a neighbor of mine in Waterloo, Iowa. Dennis Clark serves as the president of Clark & Associates Prosthetics and Orthotics, headquartered in Waterloo. The company was originally started in Waterloo by Mr. Clark's father, Dale. Dennis purchased the company in 1987. There are now 4 locations in Waterloo, Marshalltown, Dubuque, and Mason City. Mr. Clark has served as past president of the American Orthotic and Prosthetic Association and the American Board for Certification in Orthotics and Prosthetics. And if I may be allowed to indulge just a second, my father went ashore on Iwo Jima the day both flags were raised, and he had a very high standard for heroes. There's many people in this room today who meet that standard. But I just want to say that Dennis, in my mind, is one of the people who deserves our honor and respect. When he saw the need for returning veterans coming back with prosthetic needs, he made the trip to Walter Reed for 20 months on his own dime, staying here in Washington, D.C. on his own dime to provide the care that our nation's veterans deserve. And I have a picture of him here holding a heater out at Walter Reed, working on a socket. And Dennis, you are the type of inspiration that we wish we could clone and send across the country, of Americans who saw a need and responded, and at great personal sacrifice. I'm very proud to have you here today, very proud to call you my friend, and we look forward to your testimony.